So this morning's gonna be a pretty quiet day. Gonna go down to the boat and check up on that. I put a solar trickle charge on the boat the other day. So over the next few months, keep my battery somewhat fresh. Just want to make sure I did that right. I had a hard time getting those clips on the battery. Like, I couldn't even fit in that compartment, which tells me, maybe it's time to watch what I'm eating again. So, but uh, I made some double drop loops the other day and made a couple of single drop loops the other day. So now I need to make the cards. There's no magic here in how I do it, and I figure I would show you how I kind of do it. Again, these are all like prototype type of things. So what I do is I'll produce the card myself, design the card myself. I also have designers that work with me, not in this particular case, but in other cases when I'm doing shirts or I'm doing other packaging and stuff like that, the wrap on my boat, stuff like that. I have other graphic designers that will work along with me in the right quote unquote file format, and they'll design that stuff. But for simple stuff like this that I'm pretty comfortable with, I'll design the packaging. The ones that I make myself, I will, show you the process on what I do, how I design it, and package it and stuff like that. Maybe it'll help some other people out. And then what I'll do is I'll actually send this file to the factory. So when they go to pack the mass production, they will have this, and they'll just make them by like the zillions. And you know what? They don't even charge you for when you start ordering like thousands like this. They don't even charge you for the packaging. It's just like they just give it to you because you're just spending so much money on rigs and stuff like that. Or yeah, and that's when I say they don't charge you. They don't charge you like for the paper packaging, but for instance, if I got like a I don't even know what they call it. I got such a bad memory. Um, if I get that hard plastic packaging, they call it like molded packaging, or I don't know. Put the comment below what it's called. Inject, whatever. But that they charge you for, and that could get kind of pricey. You know, um, so you want to be careful. We do like the Flutter Pro spoons in just a PVC bag, very inexpensive. A lot of times, again, I don't think they charge me for that packaging. Well, they already automatically incorporated in the fee of producing the product itself. Um, so packaging, the hard part about packaging is designing it, and so this is what I've got here, like this. And I just use Microsoft Word, nothing magical or anything like that. And this is, 4 on 1 piece of paper. And I actually don't even have an overly expensive printer. I used to have an HP printer, but they pissed me off so much because you have to use their ink. I'm like, forget about it. And the ink costs like $1 million. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I got myself a actually remanufactured EcoTank ET4850. Cost me like $200, and you just fill the ink up, with any ink. You order it on Amazon. It's like, yeah, it's right there. So you just order that on Amazon or eBay or whatever it may be, and yeah, you have it for like ever. So that's really how I do my initial packaging and my designing of the package. Again, all in Word, nothing fancy. I try to keep it, clean cut. I'm learning things in the past. If you look at my other rigs when I designed them, I didn't put fish on there or anything like that. I didn't say really what they were for. Like I just called it like a double dropper or a double drop loop. I don't know if it's dropper or drop loop. I don't know. So I'm just going with drop. I've always had a challenge with the English language, and my memory's horrendous, and I can't remember stuff. So, but I know what it is, so good enough. But I learned the hard way because I produced other rigs, which are actually really good rigs. The quality is good, mass produced them, but I didn't put like fluke or sea bass on them because, to me, they're for like anything that's, on the bottom. But the sales weren't that great. So when I did my next round of cards and design, I put fluke, I put sea bass. I mean, the reality of it is, it's probably good for like other things too. And then I put little pictures of a fluke and a sea bass on there, and the sales was like night and day. And it's really same rig, right? But night and day because I put the picture of the sea bass and the fluke on there. So that's something that you want to, do. I also just noticed that I'm going to change this. I have a quick current rig. I must have put that on there for something else. I'm not going to use that because a drop a loop, you really don't need that. It's usually this must have been like a three-way rig at one point, and that I would recommend using in a faster current. And I just never changed that because now a drop a loop you're going to use on a slower current. So I'm going to change that, and that's relatively easy to do. I'll if I can find my thing, I can go right in here, and I'll just take that out of there like that, and then I could copy paste, but I'm working with one hand here because I'm videotaping. But I'll just do that like that. Yeah. Let me go up here a little bit and come down here like that. And one more. Now the other little thing that does add, and what we're going to do is we're just going to click on here a little bit. Let me just bring this down. I'm just going to click on this one here, and it should allow me to drop it down a little bit so I can center it. You see how that's kind of getting centered there? So it looks a little nicer. So I'll do that. So yeah, not only do you like design lures, you have to start like learning how to use your computer and stuff like that. And oh, look, I took out the D. See, these are like the things that I do, like I mess up on. Now it's probably gonna be like, oh no, that's not so bad. Okay, so I took the D out, though. Got it back. Yeah, that's a big thing too, is I always make mistakes. I mean, always. Like if you look at my posts, I'll spell something wrong. And I read it like 3 times too, and it reads fine. And then I go back, I'm like, that's not even in English. It's like, that's like, I don't know, like what language I even use. So that's pretty good. And then what I'll do now is I'll save that. Now I do have another another file with a barcode on the back. So after these are printed, I'll send them back through the printer with that other file with a barcode. I've been doing a lot more barcoding. It's easier for the actually easy just for me. Most tackle shops put their own barcode on them, their own barcode. Those who use a POS system do. A lot of tackle shops, they're old school. They don't even have POS systems. I wouldn't call this the fastest printer in the world, but I'm not going anywhere. I don't really get paid by the hour. Sometimes I don't even feel like I ever even actually get paid. And you can see there it is coming out. All right, so I have printed out my sheets, and matter of fact, I don't know if this is in the video. Hopefully it is. This is a reel I got, and I put this reel in salt water back on, I think it was December 13th, and I was going to leave it in the water for just about a week, and then take it out and see how well the reel actually is. It's not an expensive reel. It's like a $35 reel. But it has all stainless steel inserts, all the hardware is stainless steel. The body is all metal. I wanted to see how well it would hold up after a week in salt water. I never got to it, so it's still sitting in water, and it's January 2nd. So I'm going to do a video. We'll pull it out, and we'll see how that reel holds up. It looks like the salt water might be getting to the label a little bit in there. I don't know. I don't see it. Oh, yeah, I see maybe it's eating away a little bit over there. So we'll check it out, maybe later on today or tomorrow or something. So anyway, I print out the back as well. And the back will, put the UPC thing on the back of it. And, yeah, this is how I will basically make the samples before they get shipped off to the factory and show them. And then what I do is I'll bring the samples that I make, I'll bring them to the shows. And I'll sell those at the shows and go that way. Now, I know that I've been doing this long enough where I kind of know how wide I have to cut them. I don't know, I eye it now. And anything extra goes in our tackle store. I don't sell these wholesale because this is less stuff that I make, so it's not profitable for me to sell these wholesale. My time is worth a lot more than the dollar that it would probably average out to be. You got to have a label, right, and stuff, and it's a pretty professional looking label, I would think, right? So this is just another step in the process. So very basic stuff here. We got our card. These are really good. I think these are like 5 inches by 5 inches, and they're called like extra clear bags. They do make a difference. It just looks like a better product. Plus they come with the hole punch, so you could hang them up. It's kind of cool. Again, all this adds a few cents to your product. But think about this. If I was gonna sell these, a volume of them, really to make money, profit, to pay the electric bill, to pay the insurance, to pay my administration staff, website developers, tech people, all that stuff. I just noticed there's a defect there. Look at that defect. No good. You got to sell literally like thousands of these. So I could never do them, at my home one at a time. It was just not practical, it's just not. But to develop them, to get them out, to get it the way I like it, this is a really cool rig here. Quick story about this rig here. Very simple, right? Very common. You see them all over the place. But what's really neat about this is that I have a charter customer. His name is Joe. And Joe doesn't use a double drop loop. He uses a single one. And he uses a squid. And it's kind of cut low. It's kind of low to where the weight is on the bottom instead of a little higher. And Joe always outfishes everyone. And I would say to Joe, why don't you go with 2 teasers and stuff? And, one day he said to me, Vince, how many times or how long have you been running charters? And all those years and all those trips, if you multiply it, how many times have people caught doubleheader fluke? They really don't. You get doubleheader sea bass and stuff like that, but you don't really get doubleheader fluke. You don't really get 2 swimming together and hitting at the same time like that. So he felt that one is plenty and gives him plenty of action and causes, just any less problems. And he likes it kind of lower because he knows they're kind of low and they will come up. And usually you're up a little bit anyway off the bottom with these, because you're tapping it here. So he outfishes everybody. So sometimes it's tough to sell them because other fishermen, they want like a better bang for their buck. You know, so they see two squid, they think it's a better deal. But this rig here will actually outfish, you know, the other rigs. But, you know, sometimes people just aren't interested in them. And, you know, when it comes down to business, for me to put another squid on here, you know, what is it really costing me? Another 50 cents, let's say. And I would be able to, like, we sell these for $6. This one here, I have to sell close to like maybe $4, you know. So I lose or maybe even $3.50. But I lose $1 or $1.50 only because I want one squid, even though it's a more effective rig. The other thing I like to do when we're switching over this now, we didn't do this before, is I don't like to, and actually Billy Combs told me about this and he brought it to my attention. I don't like to wrap the lines over it with one another. It kind of coils up. There's a memory to it. So I've been using these twisty ties, and it really helps regarding that recoil, and they come out of the bag better. It's a better presentation. So that's how we're going to be producing these in the future, and that's why I'll make the sample like that. And then all we do is try to give it a decent presentation. They're hard, it's plastic on plastic, right? And we want to get it in the bag like that. Try to get the skirt somewhat level like that. Yeah, that's good. And so now what I'll do is I made, like I said, about 30 of these for the show coming up in Wildwood, New Jersey. And yeah, this is it. This is the single drop loop, squid loop rig. Mostly used on the, you know, northeast here for your sea bass and your fluke. So we got the photos, we got the name, and you're kind of good to go.